It sounds very, very, very steady, beautiful. Oh, just such a fantastic performance.
I've been running all my life.
I've just said it. I've said it. Kia ora and welcome. My name is ZoeStibi and I'm your vocal coach for today. And in today's vocal analysis, we're going to be taking a look at Michael Bublé and Pearce. Okay, I don't know who Carly is, but Michael Bublé. I saw him in concert. He's amazing. I could watch him sing the phone book, honestly. He's like the most incredible singer. But they're on The Voice, so I'm assuming Pearce is from The Voice. Let's just get straight to seeing what they're up to with their vocal technique. It's Christmas after all. We have to do a Christmas song.
I've been running all my life. I've been trying to get it right. Sentimental ain't a thing I do well. But it's Christmas time again, and I'm missing all my friends. A million miles away, a toast to the hell. Now it's a shot out in the dark. I'm just wishing on a star.
Doesn't he just have like, the voice is just like liquid caramel. It's just so, you could just listen to it all day. Wow. Okay. So we do know that Michael Bublé, look, I'm a big fan of Michael Bublé. I have watched a lot of interviews with him speaking. He has a very, very similar spoken voice. And this is very similar, like this is quite standard in this sort of like jazz genre. Okay. I know he sings like a little bit more pop stuff, but he is a jazz singer as well. So what we're talking about is the slightly lowered larynx, very standard in jazz technique. It darkens the tone. And we've got this like little bit of vibrato, which you can kind of hear sometimes. But the vocal folds are actually relatively thin for the chest voice. Let's watch this.
I've been running all my life. I've been trying to get it right. Sentimental ain't a thing I do well.
Because you're sentimentally. I mean, obviously, it's way too low for my voice, right? So it just sounds terrible when I'm singing in this key. But you will. You know, we've got this like a little bit of thinning. That's he's getting quite quiet. Quite quiet there. And we're going to da 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 da. We're using that sort of like natural aperture of the changing of the volume in the voice. We're getting these loud sections and these quiet sections. But it is like there's a lot of cry in that sound, which in turn thins the vocal folds. And that's very standard for this style of singing.
But it's Christmas time again, and I'm missing all my friends. A million miles away, a toast to the hell. Now it's a shot out in the dark. I'm just wishing on a star, and I wish I knew just what to do. Lord, I think I need your light on this cold and silent night. I'm just hanging on, it's all that I can do.
So we heard him there go, da, da, da. I mean, look, he's the ultimate performer. When I went to see him live, he talked about how he used to go into clubs when he was like 15, 16 years old, and his parents and his uncle would take him into clubs to go and sing where he actually technically wasn't even allowed to be. So he's been doing this for a very, very, very long time. And you just see that in sort of like the ease in which he's on stage. Again, it's very much in this sort of style of singing that he does, that sort of like Frank Sinatra entertainer, and that's what he is really on stage. Very amusing performer. So we've got this sort of like, he's bringing the microphone away, and that's really what we want to see. We want to see good mic technique. When you're singing louder, you take the microphone away. When you're singing quieter, you bring the microphone closer to your mouth. It seems really standard, but actually that's quite a hard thing to master. So I do recommend that most singers, if you are singing contemporary music, get yourselves a microphone, get yourselves a small box that you can work on. I have a recommendation list down in the description below. Honestly, I don't recommend you go and spend a fortune on equipment. Buy good quality, buy it once. Christmas is here, but maybe for your birthday next year, you can add it to the list.
It's all that I can do. And all the snow falling down on the city, and and the good souls below. It ain't the same when it comes down and turns into rain. 'Cause it's Christmas time, I can't be alone.
You've been running through my mind, and no matter how I try, when the bells of old St. Pat start to ring, and it's so hard for me.
So let's just have a little look. We saw there that Michael Bublé actually had quite a small mouth shape. Look, this is a really comfortable part of his range. When he went a little bit higher, you could see that he opened up a little bit.
And all the snow.
There we go. And all the snow, he opened up there. The round lips will be darkening, so rather than going, all the snow, really important to talk about the lip shape there. The longer the vocal track, the darker the sound will be.
Falling down on the city and the good souls below.
But most of this is very much in a really spoken on pitch kind of place for him. Again, lots of cry, thinning of the vocal folds. It's still very hard to do, but very, very, very comfortable part of his range.
It ain't the same when it comes down and turns into rain. 'Cause it's Christmas time, I can't be alone.
So it's quite interesting. I have a lot of students coming in and they're like, oh, Zoe, but Michael Bublé doesn't really open his mouth when he's in the chest voice. Why do I need to? So when you have a singer like Michael Bublé come into the studio, or even when he was like 16 years old, I'm fairly certain he was a pretty talented young singer. I use the word talented lightly because I don't really like that word. He also put in a lot of effort as well. So talent is just that first kind of ability to find something relatively easy, or you pick it up relatively easy. So when a talented singer comes into the studio, and that's not to say you're not talented just because your singing teacher tells you to open your mouth, you tend to not really want to change the sound that they are creating unless they're coming with problems. So I still get talented singers. I have a lot of talented singers in the studio. And so we tend to leave the easy stuff for them alone. But then we talk about when they're struggling with something or going higher. We talk about the way that they can change their mouth shape, change their tongue position to make it easier for them. But a lot of the time, and this is where I find, I kind of get up on my high horse, a lot of talented singers are not really taught the sort of basics of singing. So they tend to then struggle when they get a little bit older because they were never actually really taught to sing. They were just sort of like allowed to sing a whole bunch of songs. Now, I'm not saying that's coming from Michael Bublé's standpoint whatsoever. I just don't want you to think like, oh, well, Michael Bublé's not really opening his mouth. I don't fucking have to, Zoe. What are you talking about? You saw there in the chest voice, his mouth was relatively closed. But we can see also that he has had veneers done. His teeth are incredibly perfect, right? So it could also be due to the veneers that the space within his mouth has changed. And what we do know is when someone has had dental work, and veneers are a considerable amount of dental work being done, that we sometimes can get a little bit of jaw tension going on here. And if he did have braces, that would also be something that we would consider. It stays around for a long time, people, after you've had dental work done. Anyway, let's get to Carly. I've never heard her sing. Oh, I just heard her sing. She's amazing.
You've been running through my mind, and no matter how I try, when the bells of old St. Pat start to ring, and it's so hard for me to hear you're alone this time of year, and the bitterness that cold must bring. And when you're sitting in the dark and it's falling all apart, I'll be lighting up a candle for you.
Okay, so what we've got, she's obviously a fabulous country singer. Slightly bizarre to put a jazz singer and a country singer together, but whatever, that's their choice, isn't it, on The Voice? So we've got this beautiful, you can hear her. I am going to demonstrate this. I am not a fucking country singer, okay? This is like not my wheelhouse whatsoever. But is a beautiful sound. This is like really standard chest voice. Again, lots of cry in the sound though, because we go, oh, no, no, oh. You can hear that, oh, oh. That is the falsetto going into that thicker vocal folds. Very, very, very standard sound in country music. As someone who appreciates it, not someone who teaches it.
And no matter how I try, when the bells of old St. Pat start to ring,
when the bells of old St. Pat's. We're starting in that falsetto. It's almost like a falsetto on when the bells of old St. Pat's. And that's sort of that again, this is just what it sounds like in my voice, not making fun of Carly like at all. I just don't sing this stuff. So that is the tension in the back of the tongue. When the old bells of old St. Pat's. That's almost like the beginning of that rhotic R of the R that Americans do. I don't have a rhotic R at all. So when I say car, actually almost my R has disappeared. But rather than go car, hey, you've almost got that R coming in a lot of words in country music.
and it's so hard for me to hear you're alone this time of year, and the bitterness that cold must bring.
And you can see there's about a low chest voice sound. She's using that as a way of like almost what you can see this the difference in the mouth shapes between the two of them. We'll just look at that. She's got quite a wide mouth shape. That's going to brighten the sound as you're going. She's not really letting the larynx like dig down like Michael did.
And when you're sitting in the dark and it's falling all apart, I'll be lighting up a candle for you. I know it's sad to be alone. I wish you joy and peace and hope. I wish you all the love that your heart can hold.
And that's why, and again, look, I am fairly certain Carly is a professional singer. This sounds very, very, very steady, beautiful. She's had a long, long, long time of training. Like, she's amazing, okay? No poo-pooing to her. But when she went home, it went quite breathy. That generally happens with a struggling of the lower part of the notes. And obviously, with these two voices, that's probably why they got matched together, because she has a slightly like darker timbre. Michael also tends to settle it. He's not a tenor, he's like a baritone, sort of like sitting a little bit lower. So that's probably why they got matched together as well, so they can sing in the same key, which is like difficult between female and male singers. When you were home, you'd need to, if you wanted to sing that lowest note fuller, you'd need to take home and take the larynx down. But it doesn't really matter, because it's like almost like a throwaway note, to be honest.
And all the snow falling down on the city and the good souls below. It ain't the same when it comes down and turns into rain. 'Cause it's Christmas time, shouldn't be alone again.
So when they came together there, admittedly, I don't really I get it. Michael is like a mega star, right? And he's just like, you can just see he's like willing Carly to do well in this moment. I find it's almost like challenging when you get someone in coming and like giving you a hug like that, because it's sort of like, I find especially on stage, you sort of, I don't know, maybe I just don't really like that when someone like pins you to the side. You could sort of see that maybe she wanted to like move around a little bit or whatever, but maybe that's how they practiced as well. So like whatever, that's their performance. So when we heard them go in there, Michael was on the top harmony, Carly was on the lower harmony. That's really lovely when we're talking about male and female singers, because female singers naturally have a slightly brighter timbre when we're talking about two people who have a very similar vocal range. And so what we're talking about there, when Carly's gone low and Michael's gone high, his naturally slightly darker timbre is going to bring the sound a little bit darker, and her naturally brighter timbre is going to bring the sound up. Rather than doing it like this, where we tend to then the harmonies sound like they're moving away from one another. So that's a really nice way to do the harmonies there with the arrangement. Beautiful arrangement. We saw there that a lot of what kind of makes them, like in their singing, they took out of it when we're singing in harmony. That's what we want to do.
And the good souls below. It ain't the same when it comes down and turns into rain. 'Cause it's Christmas time, shouldn't be alone again. Maybe this Christmas don't have to be alone again. Carly Pearce, everybody.
Oh, just such a fantastic performance. You can just see that he's just so excited for her, and it's just like his heart's pouring out for her as well. I really, really love that. Just seems like such a really genuinely nice person. And honestly, most performers are, because they've been in your situation before and they really feel for you and they want you to do well, because they want everybody to do well, really, like nice performers. So we saw there as well, she went here, or whatever she did. It had the teeth like closed. That's actually a really lovely way when you're going from that chest voice into a slightly higher falsetto sound. That can make it a little bit easy, but you don't have to keep the teeth closed. You don't have to keep them open. You can kind of just, whatever the sound is, maybe she didn't want it to be too loud there. I found it quite interesting that actually Carly didn't really move the microphone away from her mouth whatsoever. This is definitely showing the different styles in the singing. So Michael Bublé, coming from the sort of like lounge singing background, he would have been in situations where he had to sing quite loudly actually in order to, usually if you're singing over top of a big band, you are as well. You've got to sing quite loud sometimes. And especially when you're singing, in that sort of like lovely belty kind of section of your song, or even in the kind of climax or the bridge section. And then when you're talking about Carly, on the other hand, it's very new and coming up now in a lot of vocal technique that's out there, that people aren't singing as loud as they used to sing. It's not really as important anymore. But really, I have to implore you to also learn how to sing really fucking loud as well, okay? Because what we're noticing in the research that's coming through is that people's voices are actually getting quieter. And it's really, really important that you encourage, especially if you're, parents of children, encourage them to yell, get out, scream, shout, use their entire voice. And also as an adult, I want to encourage you as well. Even if you don't want to sing loud, get out there, perform the loud vocal exercises, the quiet vocal exercises, exercise your entire voice so that you can keep it healthy in all parts of the vocal range. Because we are noticing that like voices and human voices in general are becoming quieter. Let's watch the end of that again.
'Cause it's Christmas time, shouldn't be alone again. Maybe this Christmas don't have to be alone again. Carly Pearce, everybody.
I love that. So, just fantastic. What a lovely performance. And I really love that it's not all about just vocal fireworks. It's really just about singing a really nice song together. These songs are always the hardest to sing because without vocal fireworks and with slower melodies, slower paced songs, much, much harder for you to work on. But again, I'm going to preach about cross training and singing. You have to do it. You have to do it because otherwise your voice will not be well-rounded and you'll end up just fucking staying in like one lane, and you want to make sure that you're working in all of the different genres because it's about making sure that you can sing quietly and loudly and with falsetto and with all of these different things. Otherwise, you end up being a little bit one-sided. And unfortunately, that can lead to muscle tension dysphonia in the future if you continue to stay in the one. I've just said it. Anyway, if you want to learn more about vocal technique, hit that subscribe button. It really does help me to help people like yourself here on YouTube for free with their vocal technique. I have some massive plans. So if you want to see a then and now, because this is my new series coming out in 2025, then let me know down in the comments who I should take a look at for my then and now series and what song I should take a look at. We'll be looking at then and now of the over time as the singer has changed with their vocal technique and what's been going on with the song and the way it's evolved. I cannot wait. It's a little bit of a personal, exciting project of mine. Anyway, if you want to learn how to sing and you're interested for the new year, whatever, learning how to sing, improving your vocal technique, I know what it's like to really struggle with my voice and have no idea what to do and when to do it and just be like, practice. So if you really want some goals, some guidance, weekly singing lessons and masterclasses, check out the links in the description below, because I will be opening up a handful of one-to-one coaching singing lesson spaces. So if you really, really, really want to like just take the bull by the horns, fucking excel at your vocal technique, I want to get you to a place where you don't need a vocal coach. That's what I'm here for. I also have a do-it-yourself guide along masterclasses with my Vocal Academy. But check out some more Michael Bublé up here because we've had a look at him before here on the channel. I love you guys. I really, really do. This is like one of the fucking best parts of my week. And I just want to say, have an awesome Christmas. Have a fantastic holiday. Happy Hanukkah. Happy every type of holiday that is around. Happy no holidays, happy whatever you want to call this. It's awesome. And I just want to wish you all the best. I hope you get some time to just chill, drink lots of whatever you choose to drink. I must admit, mine is always Prosecco over Christmas time, even though I don't really usually drink. I make an exception at Christmas. Lots of Christmas cookies, all the good things in this world that you really enjoy and just like brings that Christmas feeling to you. You're awesome. And I just want to let you know, like, anyone can learn to sing and I'm here to help you. Ka kite anō and Merry Christmas. Ka kite anō.